It's time for Pod of the Dead.
Only redeeming quality.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, we'll get it. We'll go.
Okay.
All right. Hello and welcome to Pod of the Dead. I am your host, Nicholas, and with me as always are the two final girls, Stephanie and Natasha.
Hello. What's up?
On today's episode, we are covering the 2009 horror comedy film, Jennifer's Body. Coming into today's episode, girls, what is your history with this film?
I had never seen it. All I really knew about it was it had Megan Fox in it, and she eats people. That was it.
That was mine too. That was literally it. I remember seeing like the cover of it once upon a time on like one of the streaming services, and I was like, I don't know if I want to see that or not. And then just moving on with my life. So that was about it.
This is a movie that I definitely skipped. I skipped on. I didn't up until recently know that Diablo Cody wrote it. So if I knew that back then, I probably would have checked it out because I really liked Juno when it came out. So this came out like a couple years after that. I probably would have watched it, but yeah, I'm not like crazy about Megan Fox or anybody that's really like on the posters for this film. Mm-hmm. So there was no driving me to watch it. But yeah, so this was a first watch for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was the first watch for all of us. So
yeah.
So Tasha, would you like to tell these fine folks at home, even the assholes in the back, would you like to tell them what Jennifer's Body is?
Yep.
As she's sneezing and dying.
I was burping. I got that out of the way. Okay. Jennifer's Body is a 2009 American comedy horror film written by Diablo Cody and directed by Karyn Kusama, starring Megan Fox in the titular role and Amanda Seyfried alongside Johnny Simmons. Who's Johnny Simmons?
Johnny Simmons played Chip.
Okay.
Amanda Seyfried's boyfriend.
Okay. J.K. Simmons, Amy Sedaris, and Adam Brody in supporting roles. The film follows a high school student demonically possessed following a sacrifice who kills her male classmates and devours their flesh in order to survive, with her childhood friend striving to end her killing spree.
That is 100% basically the entire film.
The entire film, literally. That doesn't leave anything out. They shouldn't have said so much, really.
And there's some Panic at the Disco songs in it. And
that was actually really good.
Lots of emo, like late. It's literally like if Hot Topic threw up a fucking film
for teenagers.
What's really weird though is it's for teenagers, but it's clearly rated R. It's like in that. Personally, I think that has something to do with why it didn't do so well in the marketing. Because, if this was a PG-13 film and they took all of that out of it,
it would have ruined it.
Well, it probably would have done better in the theaters.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have liked it. It would have made the
movie worse and stuff.
Yeah.
But so
this movie actually had a lot more famous people in than I expected, to be honest.
So that's not the overview that I have for this film.
Oh no! Here we go.
I have.
I know what one of these are going to be. So go ahead.
High school student Jennifer Check buys her first car, who is actually the Autobot Bumblebee.
Yeah! I knew it.
Bumblebee defends her and her girlfriend, Megan Fox. No, we all know who this is.
I know, the Transformers.
Yes.
I love it so much. That's amazing. I just bought a Bumblebee toothbrush the other day that I bought for myself from the Dollar Tree. It is amazing. That is all. Okay.
So happy for you, Steph.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bother going through that whole one because it's literally everybody knows Megan Fox basically for that, for Transformers.
For Transformers.
And then she's just basically a beauty model kind of thing and stuff. But
and she's with is with Machine Gun Kelly. That's the only things I know.
Well, and here's the thing, I think she did really good in this movie, personally.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
I thought she did fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
before we get into it, like, yeah, I'm not throwing any shade at Megan Fox for this. Like, I think that's low-hanging fruit to be able to do that. Let's see here. So what's the other one that I have? A promising young drummer enrolls at a cutthroat music conservatory where his dreams of greatness are mentioned okay, sorry, let me start over. A promising young drummer enrolls at a cutthroat music conservatory where his dream of greatness are mentored by an instructor who will stop at nothing to realize a student's potential.
I don't remember the name of this, but
Shit.
it's like The Musician or something like that. And I know who you're talking about. I can't remember. What is it?
Does it have J.K. Simmons in it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
it does. He's the instructor.
Yeah. I can't think of the name of it either.
I can't remember the name of it.
It's 2 syllables.
I don't fucking.
Give me the first letter.
W.
Whiplash.
There you go.
Oh, see, I had no idea.
That movie's
I knew
so
what it
fucking
was.
good. I love
I've
that
never
movie.
seen it, but we've talked about it quite a few times, and I knew that he was
down here behind me.
Okay, and I knew that he was an instructor in that. Okay.
Yeah, it's super, super good.
Okay.
All right. So,
Am I gonna know what this one is?
probably.
I think so.
Needy, a 16-year-old homeschooled girl who not only makes the mistake of falling for Aaron Samuels, the ex-boyfriend of Regina George, but also
it.
unintentionally joins the
I was waiting
plastics
for this
led
one, too.
by Regina herself.
Mean Girls.
Yes. Yes.
I
Amanda
knew that one.
Seyfried is, yeah,
She's like a main character in that. She's the one that like grabs her boobs and is like, I can tell what the weather is.
That's right.
and I think she did fucking great in this film too.
She did. I actually think she's a really good actress. She plays a lot of different roles really well, and you would think from watching her in Mean Girls, she was like a really dumb blonde. But this one, she doesn't play that part. So I like her abilities. She's good.
So, talking about Megan and Amanda real quick before we get into like budget and everything. So before Amanda Seyfried was got the role, Emma Stone was considered for the part
Okay.
of Needy, and Blake Lively turned down the role of Jennifer due to scheduling conflicts with the television show Gossip Girl.
Okay.
So that's like in a different sideways universe. Those are the two that would star in this film. So
They'd probably do really well in it too, honestly, because that would fit pretty well in this.
yeah, I could see. Like, I'm actually not very familiar with anything Blake Lively's been in other than Ryan Reynolds' Pants.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
told
about
you
it.
we have to watch that movie of A Simple Favor. I think is what it's called. They just put it on Netflix.
Are there
and
tentacles?
No,
Not interested.
no, but it's really it's really good. I saw it once, and I want to say it might be technically classified as like a murder mystery or a horror, something like that.
It's a thriller, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, I knew it was. It's really good.
So 2009. What do you think the budget for this film was?
Well, considering it's from like who made this Universal parent somebody who made this movie. It was like a bigger budget.
I
Like
think
who distributed it?
My brain is telling me it came out from Sony, but
Okay,
I'm not 100% sure.
I don't remember. I'm
No,
gonna
it's
go.
Fox. It's Fox. It
Oh,
came
Fox.
Out,
Okay.
It came. Fox distributed it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 7 million.
7 mil.
Yeah. It might have been a lot more than that. I could be really off.
10 million.
Its budget was $16 million.
Yeah.
damn.
I was like, I wondered because there's a lot of like extra effects that they have
Yeah.
to use, I guess, or
So
gore.
on its $16 million budget, what do you think it raked in at the box office?
Did this actually have a wide release?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay.
I don't think this gives anything away, but it came in as the 12th highest grossing film in horror for its year
For
that it came out.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
3 million.
Good job, Tasha.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with
$1.
yeah. I'm gonna go with 15 million.
31.6.
Oh, it doubled.
Oh,
with
wow.
money, almost.
It doubled a little over. A lot of the problems come from just like how the marketing for this film worked. Like they didn't know who they were trying to well, they knew who they were trying to sell the movie towards, but those weren't the people that were going to go see it.
That's true, because they couldn't get in without their parents going anyway.
Correct. They were like trying to sell this to like 15-year-old boys and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's not the audience this movie's even close to made for. Like, I think this is definitely like a women's horror film.
I agree.
And stuff like that. Like, even though
I would say young girl, like young teen, like teens, like 13 to 21.
It's definitely misleading, quote unquote misleading, not intentionally or anything like that. But when you have like literally like Megan Fox, who's like a on the side of like a bomber jet, like smoke show kind of girl as your character, right? It's like, well, we got to get the 15-year-old boys in here. It's like, well, no, like there's a lot more going on. Like the fact that she is an attractive girl matters in this film. Like it does actually matter. It's not that it's just like, well, we got to get the hottest girl we can to sell this film. Yeah, it's a part of
the plot. Yeah.
So, but. This came out, like I said, 2019, to give you kind of the landscape.
2009?
Or 2009, Jesus Christ.
I was like, you said 19. I'm like, man, that's new.
So when this was coming out, you've got like The Blind Side, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Monsters vs. Aliens, the first Star Trek movie, of the newer ones, The Hangover.
Those are all okay movies.
Avatar, the first
Avatar.
2009 is your year, Steph. So you got Avatar, you've got Twilight Saga, New Moon.
Yay!
Up.
I haven't seen that.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, that's good.
Woo!
And number one for the year, raking in almost $500 million, is Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
Yay! Wow. I love Transformers.
Yeah, 400 and some odd $1 million. You know, just some measly.
Just some, yeah. Right. I love those movies, all of them. So
that's incomprehensible.
Yeah, numbers don't even go that high.
No.
As I previously said, Jennifer's Body came in as like the 12th highest grossing horror film for the year. I'm not going to go through all of those, but this was the year that Paranormal Activity came out. And it was the number one by almost double to what second place was.
Wow.
Okay. What was number two?
You've got Paranormal Activity, and I'll just run down like the top 10. Paranormal Activity, The Final Destination, Friday the 13th remake, Haunting in Connecticut, My Bloody Valentine remake, The Unborn, Drag Me to Hell, which we'll be covering sometime this year, I believe.
Okay.
Halloween 2, which is the Rob Zombie one. The Last House on the Left remake, and The Uninvited. Also, I guess we'll do number 11, Saw 6. So like we're so deep into the Saw films at this time.
Wow.
And then Jennifer's Body. But yeah, like lots. This is definitely like so Paranormal Activity comes out now. That's going to trigger this whole other new stuff coming out. Mm-hmm. But we are so deep into remake territory at this time.
We kind of have always been that way a little bit.
Yeah, but like if the top almost half, if not more, of these top 10 horror films that came out this year were all remakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think personally, if this film came out now, it would do like 400 times better like than it did when it came out in 2009, just because I think the audience is more open to the, granted 2009 was not quote unquote that long ago, even though it was like 15 years ago. I just think like considering the underlying narrative and stuff in this film, which we'll get into after spoiler territory, I just think it's kind of ahead of its time. Not saying that it's the greatest film ever, but it definitely it was way better than I expected. I expected this to be like hot garbage, and
I did too. Yeah, I agree. Well, the only thing I think that would be different nowadays is they would have to update kind of like the technology stuff. Yeah, that too, in the language.
Some of the
the cell phone usage, the computer usage stuff. Like I think because they had flip phones and this.
That's obvious.
Those kind of things. But yeah, the actual narrative. Yeah, absolutely. I think it would work really well. They could do a remake of that, and it would probably work since we're talking about remakes.
Well, actually, this past year, Diablo Cody expressed interest in a sequel. She's like, I'm not done with Jennifer's Body. I just need to partner with people who believe in it as much as I do, and that hasn't really happened yet. I need someone to believe in it who has like $1 billion. And when this movie came out, 20th Century Fox did want to make a sequel. The senior executives at Fox wanted to make a sequel, which would have basically been about a main antagonist, which would be a bisexual boy possessed by an incubus. So they're basically just going to gender swap it.
Okay.
So like in this film, granted, like we won't give away. I kind of maybe gave a little something away, but whatever. The overview that Tasha gave basically ran the entire.
That told everything anyway. Yeah, it does.
Except for like the actual. No, it's fine. I mean, that's what's going to happen when you look online. That's what you find.
Yeah.
You know. And yeah. So, do you girls want to get into spoiler territory?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Yes, please.
So, Pod of the Dead is a film club. If you are new to us, welcome. Thanks. Don't know how you found us. Don't know why you found us, but hopefully you stick around. That's cool. If not, whatever.
Please stick around.
No, don't listen to that cool. one. That one doesn't. Don't listen to her. No.
Jesus Christ.
Get back in your box. Basically how this works is every week we give out homework at the end of the episode, and that's what we're all going to watch. So then the following week we can openly discuss it, talk about it, learn some new things, shit on it, like raise the roof about it, whatever fucking bullshit, you know. But if you have not seen Jennifer's Body, it is currently streaming on Peacock. If you don't care about spoilers, stick around. If not, if you don't want it spoiled, show back up the last 15 minutes or so. The episode will be giving out homework for next week. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's start talking about our thoughts and our feelings of this film.
If you'd like to be part of our horror film club, make sure to follow us at Instagram, Threads, and Facebook at Pod of the Dead. All of our episodes can be found at podofthedeadorelse.com or wherever you stream music and podcasts. If you have movie recommendations or questions for us, email us at podofthedead666@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Or else. All right.
We got whose review are we doing first?
Oh,
Tasha, will you give me that 10 out of 10 that you wrote?
Yep.
No, you just skip me. Skip me for this time. Well, Nick did just say for no one to listen to me, so that holds true right now. When this movie first came out, I mistakenly thought it was just meant to be like every other horror movie, and I didn't even give it the time of day. Now, knowing more about the queer and feminine roles in traditional horror, I am blown away by the role reversal, the self-awareness, and the cleverness of this film. I watched it recently and was amazed with the witty writing, funny acting, and great soundtrack. I will agree with the soundtrack.
Okay.
The best part. Megan Fox deserves so much more recognition for this film than the Transformers series, which disrespected her on screen and behind the scenes. She is funny, sexy, and powerful in every scene. Amanda Seyfried sells Needy's conflicted character throughout the film. The queer text in this film is so beautiful and reflects a lot of Western Gothic tropes like feminine empowerment, repressed sexuality, grotesque beauty, and the desire to become someone else. This is by far one of my favorite horror movies. I know a lot of people might not like it, but I recommend everyone watch it at least once.
I think it's fair.
I do too. Yeah. I don't know about the 10 out of 10, but I think that was, yeah.
Yeah, God, no. No way.
Some people are more liberal with their things. They watch everything, and it's a 10. It's a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no gray area.
Yep. They
Pass
love it or
fail.
they hate it, which is actually kind of cool. So
Yeah. I agree with their thoughts on Megan Fox and the difference between her in this movie versus the Transformer movies.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for her because, like, I know that she got kind of treated shittily with the Transformers movies and how they wanted to basically just, like, over sexualize her,
Yeah.
like, for the benefit of it. And the same thing kind of happened with this, with how they wanted to go about, like, doing some weird ass promotion stuff. Like, they wanted her to, like, do, like, what was it, like interview things with like porn sites and stuff like that, and people were like shooting that down, and like they were like really pushing for this to go like in a real fucking weird way. And it's like I'm not sure how old she was at this time, but I'm pretty sure she's younger than us. So like 2009, she was probably like in her super early 20s, and like for her first films, for them to just really try to exploit her look and stuff like that to that degree. It's one thing, like I do understand that this film has like definite like sexual like parts or whatever, like there's sexual
whole movie.
Well, no,
Yeah,
but I mean like
whole
no, shut up. No, there's a certain word I'm trying to use. Underpinnings that like it really does matter. Like you couldn't take the sex out of this film. Like that's correct. Where like, but like Transformers, that doesn't fucking matter, and it's just
not
like
needed. Yeah,
and it's just like, oh my god, look at this one over here. Look at this. It's just like really fucking skeezy. But
she was 23 when that movie was made. When Jennifer's body was made.
Yeah, so that's
so
crazy.
she's our age. Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you want me to do the review, or do we want to keep talking about the movie in that way?
Well, you are currently talking, so
oh my god. Okay, all right, 1 out of 10. Oh my god, what was that? One of the most stupid, aimless movie. One of the most. Okay, this isn't. Okay, I'm gonna try to get through this because I think we got some grammatical errors here.
Steph,
They were so fired up.
Just read what you wrote, okay?
Yes, I will read what I wrote. Okay. One of the most stupid, aimless movie of all time. It's the worst movie in 2009 for sure. The script was terrible, not scary, not funny, not witty, not mysterious. So why? Why did Diablo Cody have to do that to her viewers? I wasn't a big fan of Juno, but that was not what I expected. Trailer wasn't like that at all. I mean, I don't think anyone expected a masterpiece, but this horrible plot, lousy acting, loathsome script, pure awfulness, and Megan Fox to carry a film. Come on, Hollywood, get real. Just don't watch it. You can do much better things than sit and watch this crap for 100 minutes. I gave it a 1 point, but I gave it a 1 point, but if there were a point below that, believe me, I'd give it a point.
Okay.
I guess we're looking at points and not stars. Okay.
Well, they're saying like the worst film of 2009 and stuff like that, and it's like just looking at the horror films that came out in 2009, I would say of these, like it's probably in the top 3 for me that came out that year. That's in this list that I see. Drag Me to Hell and Paranormal Activity I'd put above it, but like Halloween 2 sucks. I don't give a shit about most of these like remakes and all that. So it's like it's an original story, and like the thing that shocked me is like I've never seen a film that was about a succubus, so that was fucking cool. Like I didn't expect that. So.
Yeah, I mean, is that what she's supposedly? I thought she was just like a demon.
No, I think it's legitimately 100% a succubus. Because like in the original script and stuff, it was supposed to be a lot bloodier, a lot gorier, and they like tamed it down a lot. But originally it would show more scenes of Jennifer tearing apart her male victims, including Jennifer feeding on victims' testicles in reference to how succubus feed on their victims' semen. So it is 100%. That's why she only goes after men. Like that is 100% the whole thing about that character and stuff. So like I've never seen a succubus film, so that was neat.
Yeah.
Like I know, like while we were watching it, you were like, "Oh, she's a vampire. Oh wait, she's a werewolf."
Yeah. Well, when we went into this, I always assumed that she was a vampire because I think that's kind of like what I had heard about, or like it was in that, like if you were looking for vampire movies, they recommended this. And so I can see where it's kind of like adjacent, but it's not a vampire movie.
Well, yeah, because it's got the seducing kind of thing.
Well, and the biting thing, and like some vampires tear their victims apart, like all that stuff. But like, there's no turning, and none of that stuff takes place in this. And then she also doesn't. She has a thirst, just like vampires. Like there's such a very similar. There's a lot of similarities in it. But when we were watching this, and this is what made me laugh. So in the beginning of the movie, she like the band and all that stuff happens, and then we're in the kitchen after she gets taken, and and she vomits all this really gross stuff all over the floor. And I was like, Tasha's gonna hate this movie. Immediately. I was like, it was just gratuitous, like puking like black matter out of her mouth, and I thought it looked awesome. But I was like, Tasha's going to hate this.
That's just
you know
Hershey
me so
syrup.
Well.
That's just Hershey's chocolate syrup they used. It says that and a little CGI for it, but that's all they used for that. So at least it smelled wonderful.
Yeah, at least it was just Hershey syrup. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
That was too much. That was ridiculous. I can't wait for homework this week.
Oh no. Yeah. And then I liked the premise of the movie a lot, though. I mean, for it feeling very teenagey. I liked, like, when you go into it, I expected this to be absolute dog shit, to be honest. And then we got into it, and I actually was pleasantly surprised, not in a way that I would be like, this is the greatest movie ever, but like, and it was actually a well put together and thought out film. And like, the acting was done really well. And I loved the best friends, like, relationship in the story. It's like, they kind of have like this, like, almost lusty part of them, but I like the way that it starts at the beginning, where it's like, she's in this asylum, and then Jennifer is like, they're showing us a piece of her too, and so like we're wondering, and then we're going to the back of the story, and then going to the band thing. I really liked. At first I thought he was like hypnotizing her, and that's the reason why she went with them in the van, and then later on we find out she was just like drunk, but they don't really show that. But I have to say, a really funny story. So if you guys whoever's listening, and Tasha, I'm pretty sure you know this, so Nick does not like Chris Pratt. Okay. Yesterday, he went and saw the Garfield movie, and Chris Pratt voices the Garfield. And
I didn't go because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Two of our kids wanted to, so I took them to go see it.
Yeah, and so he was like loathing this all day long. He's like, I don't know why they always have to pick him to voice this. I don't get it. I don't have a hate relationship with Chris Pratt, but Nick does. and so we get in this movie, and lo and behold, he leaves the Garfield movie. We come home, watch Jennifer's Body, and there's fucking Chris Pratt. And I was like, I started laughing so hard. I was like, oh look, and he's like, I hope he dies.
I was like, God damn it! This movie will get a whole point if they kill Chris Pratt.
Yep.
All right.
Oh my God.
So we know that it's getting at least a 2.
Funny. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so funny. Yeah. And then I liked the nerdy guy. He reminds me. He's a nerdy guy in something else. I can't remember what he was in. The guy that's the singer in the band. So
Adam Brody.
Is that? Yeah. I don't remember what he's in.
He was in the OC. That's the number one thing I remember him from. Yeah,
I remember him something else, and he was nerdy in the one thing I watched him in, and I couldn't get out of that headspace of just looking at him that way. But other than that, like there wasn't much about this movie that I think that was like horrible or anything. I liked the gore in it. I thought it was good. It was actually gory. Yay!
It was okay. I could have done with some more.
I could have too, but I mean, there was like 4 scenes of it that was pretty decent. I thought
the first time you see like when the football player gets killed and stuff, and he's legit gutted open and stuff. I was like, hell yeah! But I don't think it gets that hard anymore for the rest of the film, and I thought that's where we were gonna go, and I was like, oh hell yeah. But at least, you know, like it gave me that little bit, and like the blood in this movie looks really good. Like anytime it's splattering or anything, I was actually pretty impressed. The practical effects in this film I thought were really good. The CGI, on the other hand, is bad. Super bad. Like when Jennifer's mouth opens, or the fire in the fucking that whole scene, once that fire starts, that whole scene is really weird. Like, I don't know how anybody on set or in the production had none of these people had ever seen how people react to a fire or getting out of a fire. It was very weird because it's like they were just like, oh, this is pretty crazy. You want to get in the car or whatever? Literally like not even 100 yards, like fucking 20 yards behind you is a burning bar with people screaming and dying, and like they're just like, no, let's get out of here, blah blah blah. And I understand that they are trying to get her into the car so they can sacrifice her, but you'd think that there would be like a little bit more like, oh shit, like we gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, no, it's just like, hey, what's happening, guys? Like my guy
Yeah, well, they don't seem affected by it at all, but like they're very sinister anyway, because they're going to go like literally take a virgin and kill her. So they're like, oh, this is fine. And you also don't know that they didn't create that fire. Like, we don't know that. Like, they could have started it. See it.
It's an electrical fire that starts off.
Yeah, but you don't know if they didn't plant something there. Like, we don't know a lot. They could have put that and cut it out of the video. You don't know because they were acting so like it didn't matter.
Aloof.
And so, yeah, exactly. And so that's where I was wondering.
They were an indie band in the late 2000s, babe. Of course they were aloof.
Maybe.
That's their whole
like, they're too
demeanor.
cool.
They're from the city, guys. They're from the city. They like to come out to the shittier parts where their fans are too, guys.
Yeah, I know.
This would have made it would have made like 10 million times more sense if this was a metal band, because I don't know of any satanic indie rock bands. So if anybody can point me in the direction of like the satanic Bright Eyes, I'm here for it. Well, I mean, I guess Amigo the Devil's kind of that, but who knows?
Yeah, it was interesting, and
he still seems nicer.
Yeah, and then when she was down there, like I said, I thought I wasn't intoxicated. I thought she was like enthralled by him. So I just assumed that she wasn't freaking out, but her friend still was. Like, her friend was the whole time, and she called her boyfriend, and she did all of those things. And the guy that I know you guys have mentioned his name. I can't remember what it was. The guy who's her boyfriend in this. Chip. Oh yeah. I did not like him. He was my least favorite character in this.
Well, he's like
a wet paper bag.
Well, there's a reason for that, though. He's like the very safe bet and everything.
Yeah.
And Needy's character throughout the whole movie is like, her main thing is like, she's into Jennifer. Yeah. And it's like the unrequited love thing. And it's proven in the scene where Needy and Chip are having sex. And she's just kind of like, oh, okay. But she's like then she starts to freak out because she thinks she sees Jennifer and everything. But then when her and Jennifer hook up, she's like really fucking into it and stuff. So like, that's like, it's that whole, like the whole having a beard. Like she thinks she's straight, or she has to act straight or whatever. So she
could just be bi.
Well, yeah, but like, it's that whole thing of like not knowing who you are, but then like being like, oh wait, no, like I'm actually not into this. Like, yeah, he's a nice guy and all this stuff, but this isn't actually doing it for me. Like, I actually want this other thing.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end was really sad too, though, because like I think she cares about him and loves him in her own way, but she's just not into him. And that he's super into her, and then he still gets offed anyhow, which was kind of sad. And like, I was hoping, even though she'd bitten him, that he would like, it wasn't bad enough that he would die, but he died. So I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. But I liked what like the whole her doing all the research and stuff to find out about this demon inside of her. And then she's like, well, when she's not fed, she's the most vulnerable. And then she like fucking attacks her in her bedroom. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like I was like, she doesn't want to put up with her friend killing other people, so she's just going to kill her instead.
I really thought the fucking comedy in this worked really well, personally, in the sense of Megan Fox's delivery and stuff with it. Like when she's full and everything, and she's like her like fucking like beautiful self or whatever, right? Like glowing or whatever they say. She's so fucking like arrogant and just like and all, like saying all this shit is just kind of like cracking me up, because it's everybody else is like mourning and stuff, and she's just like, I'm a fucking god, I'm so fucking cool and all this stuff. I'm just like, oh my god, what an asshole. And then like when she's like getting hungry and stuff, she just looks like death warmed over, which literally she is. Like, her body is technically dead, and it's only the demon inside of her that's keeping it going from feeding. So like, just how she's just like, I don't fucking know what's wrong, I fucking look like shit and all this stuff, and she starts realizing what it is, and it's just this cycle and everything. And I found that like that part of the movie I found endearing. I really liked There were some things that I just thought were like huge missteps, like the fire scene and all that. You were talking about how you liked the asylum at the beginning. I think that just kind of gave away the ending a little bit, because you knew that for some reason Amanda Seyfried's character was going to make it to the end of the film. So
yeah, but they gave us like a little test to let us know that like she was going to end up adopting some of these whatever parts of her friend. So like when we saw her kick her, and when you knew that she was like super strong, and you could tell by like little bits and pieces of just the asylum scene that you're like, she's not quite normal, and she's also not quite human, or something's different about her. So that kept me wondering throughout the whole movie, like, I wonder if she, like, they have some kind of psychic connection, like maybe she touched her blood when, the vomiting scene. I wondered if she'd like absorbed something from it. Like, I didn't know until the end, like she had bitten her, and then they showed the bite mark on her shoulder, and then that's how she had absorbed some of the powers or whatever. And so I was like, that was interesting to me. And like, I don't think we would have had that same kind of relationship with her in terms of understanding why she ended up there and like how it worked, and if we hadn't had the beginning scene.
See, I think it would have been like, in that sense, like take away the beginning scene or keep it, whatever, right? I think it would have been more effective as a film, personally, if it wouldn't have been like, we're going to pass on this, like, now she's got superpowers and all this shit. If she literally would have been like sent to prison for murdering Jennifer, and she's like, no, she blah, 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 because that would make her fucking crazy as is. Like the whole, like all that shit. Like the fact that it's like, oh, we're going to make it, and now she's going to go and kill these guys in the credits. It's like, fucking, it seems unnecessary. And like, that's one of my least favorite parts of the movie, is like where she's like in the lotus position, like fucking floating in the thing. I was like, this is why people fucking hate this movie. Yeah. Like, they're like, for all of the, like, for what I like, I really like in this movie, but then like, this is a 10-in-1 kind of movie for me. For what I like, I really like, but what I do not like, I do not like.
Yeah, the other thing that was weird to me, and I don't know if you guys picked this up or thought it was weird too, was that the guy that's like the emo guy that's into her, and that like he's flirting with her, and she's like, well, just ask me out or whatever. And then she gives him her address, but they live in a town of like 7,000 people. Shouldn't he already know relatively where she lives? And, he's driving into like this like rundown part of town, and like that has nobody, like nothing there. And it looks like it might be under construction. But like, if you're into a girl and you're in high school and your school is that small and you have 7,000 people living there, you would know. Like,
you underestimate how dumb high school boys are that think they're gonna get their dick touched.
That's the only thing I could think too. Like, he's climbing through an abandoned house's window. Yeah. There were so many parts. It was like, I don't know if it was the writing or what, but like how they handled the burning of the bar, like just going back to school the next day. Yeah. And then this part, like, there's so many just super far-fetched scenarios in this movie, and maybe that's really the best out of it.
Maybe that's the point of it. Like, it's supposed to be so ridiculous it's funny.
I don't think it's supposed to be taken seriously. Like, it is straight up made to be a horror comedy, and I think that over the top campiness, it's very tropey. Like, it's basically just taking like the slasher ideals, right, and just flipping it on its head. So like the girl like being like, oh, I hear a noise upstairs, what's that, while she knows that all of her friends are getting killed, but like she hears the sound and does it anyway. He's basically doing the same exact thing, where it's just like all of these people are dying, all like he knows this, like they've been talking about it, and then he's just like in this fucking crazy place. The door is literally boarded up. He has to climb in the second story window. It is just like, yeah, you deserve to die, Colin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I liked that scene, and I thought it was really cool how it played out, but like it was kind of dumb. And I think maybe that's the whole point of this. Maybe that's the whole point of this whole movie, because realistically, like she's the Mike Myers, right? That's what she reminds me of, other than she's like more like a vampire, but like she gets up and keeps going, and she keeps killing them, and like no matter what they do to her, like obviously she has to feed, so she's like also kind of a vampire in a way. But anyway, and then so this happens to her, and then the other thing is like all the guys are just really dumb in this, and so like the other guy, he's like, she legitimately says, she's a demon, I can't date you because all this stuff's going on, she's part of it, it. Like, she's breaking it down for this guy that's her boyfriend. I don't want to date you anymore. The next fucking scene or 2 scenes later, this motherfucker's in a field by himself when all these dudes are getting off. She fucking shows up and everybody's like, and the whole time I'm thinking, motherfucker, she just told you she can't date you because this girl's naughty and she's up to shit and she's killing people and all this stuff. And he's just like, yeah, sure, I'll make out with you and go into this weird ass place with a fucking gross pool and I'll let you bite me. Like, I don't get it.
Here's the thing though, okay? Yeah. Like, I gotta give it to this though. Okay, so it's a succubus, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm not fully like informed on demonology and all that stuff, right? But there are certain things about her that seem very siren-esque and stuff, because like when she's like, I was calling for you and all this stuff, didn't you hear me? And she's so manipulative and stuff like that and like even like when her and Needy like have their like their sexual like scene, it's very like it's not that Needy doesn't want to do that. It's like she's not in control of it happening until like she's like, what the fuck is going on? I just saw you killing these people and stuff like that. So like it feels like there's something very like serpentine about her and like is almost like hypnotic to these people. Like that's how I kind of read it, whether that's on purpose or not. Yeah. Like that's just kind of how I read it and how I allowed some of these like things to be like, well, you know, she is a demon and stuff like that. Like I would give this movie like negative points if it like had to explain to me those things. Like if it was like, oh yes, and she can do this and do that, I'd be like, I don't fucking need that. But it allows me to just kind of build my own idea and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, well, maybe it's this, because that makes sense. I mean, like there are certain things that are similar to that. So who knows? And I mean, like the only way that you know it's a succubus, like technically, is because you see the word succubus when she's researching.
Going through the paperwork,
But it like in the script, it is more detailed. But in the film, it's only in that one word. She's never called it. Nothing.
No, we don't know. We really don't know a whole lot about her in this, other than the fact that she got offed, and that, you know, this is the result of that because she wasn't a virgin. So now she's holding a demon inside of her. That's the only thing we really knew. And that was, I mean, I didn't mind that. I thought it was weird that like this indie band is like sacrificing a virgin out in the middle of nowhere for whatever. I can believe the ridiculousness of it, I guess.
It would have made so much more sense if it was like a metal band or even a hardcore band or something, but it's the fact that it's like fucking like a indie band. It's so I guess
it's supposed to be ironic. Yeah,
it reminds me of The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I mean, it's that same idea. It's not a metal band, but you know, selling your soul for fame.
Yeah, 100%. Like I get all that, but it's one of those things of like, if you're trying to make these characters seem like they don't, beyond the fact of what they do, not once do they seem sinister. They just seem kind of cringy.
Yeah, well, that's probably why.
The whole movie is cringy.
Yeah,
it fits in perfectly.
It does. That's true. It is cringy. I agree. But I liked the cringe because it is. I didn't even think about the word. Yeah, it does feel campy to me. That's true. I didn't 100%. Even think about that. That's true. That's exactly what it feels like.
So Tasha, like you're like, for lack of a better term, bitching about the script and all that stuff, right? What is your take on Juno? Like, did you like Juno?
Yeah, I like Juno.
Because they're written by the same person. Mm-hmm. And like knowing that going in, like I don't know if you knew that going into watching this, it like the way everyone speaks is very similar to that. So like I remember liking Juno when it came out and everything. So I was like, oh, she wrote this. So, but like you're like it's horrible, like all this stuff. So I'm just kind of intrigued.
The tone is so different, I think. Like where Juno is more of a drama, this is supposed to be a horror movie, and it just, I don't know, the comedy, the humor, that like you said, the campiness, none of that really resonated with me. All of that, like, and it, I don't know, there was like the high schoolers having like joking constantly about sex wasn't my thing.
Well, here's the thing though. So, yes, some of the terminology they use and stuff is like unacceptable and whatnot, right? But at the same time, that is 100% what it was like back in 2009, 2000s in general, going to school. So like I'm not going to hold it to the same measuring stick I would to a film that comes out today, because, you know, we are in a different landscape, right? All the while, though, it definitely has like these very like I don't think it's a derogatory film, even though it does use some language that, you know, would suggest the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I just think that, I don't know. I think it was cheap comedy.
Okay. I get that.
I guess is the best way to word it.
It wasn't highbrow by any means. Like, it is definitely like its target audience, like we were saying, is like high school kids. But it's targeted at the high school kids whose parent, especially back then, like you could just get into a rated R film and it wouldn't fucking matter. So it's a rated R film, but for like 15, 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
But can we also talk about the fact that there is queer representation in this, in the sense, and back in 2009, finding a movie that was going to have queer representation in any capacity was also a lot less. So like nowadays we get a lot more movies and TV shows that actually have that like on the forefront, and for them to come out and be like, hey, we're going to have this in this movie now, and then we're also going to market it towards teenagers. So if they're going through something like this and they're questioning their sexuality, like they get to see like the struggle that one of the characters goes through in this. I kind of liked that, because that is from not so long ago, but enough where we didn't really have a lot of that back then. So I liked that about this.
Well, like I've got right here, it says the film beyond horror and comedy has a lesbian message, portrayed Needy, who through the film leaves clues that Needy really feels attraction to Jennifer, enduring her mistreatment, feeling pain by killing her against her will, and avenging her death. The reason why Needy is Chip's girlfriend is because the production wanted to emphasize the exploration and sexual discovery that is experienced in adolescence. Even the sex scene between Needy and Chip is made on purpose as a metaphor that she doesn't really enjoy it, and quite the opposite because of her first lesbian experience encounter with Jennifer. But like the whole thing is just like, it's like, at the end of the day, these are supposed to be high school kids. Now, at the same time, I'm not crazy about watching high school kids have sex. Let's have that be said, right? It wouldn't feel so like, I feel very uncomfortable watching this if they were like college or whatever, right? And I think that this film would have worked just as well if they would have done that, but... Yeah.
Well, the only thing I have to say about the sex scenes, I don't like watching that either necessarily.
Even
but
though
I think
they're all obviously of age.
But I think that they did well with it, though. There was no nudity like during any of that. Like they were really smart about it, and like I was worried that we were going to get a scene where we're like seeing some teenager's butt or something like that was going to be like very. Well, and they didn't do that.
Even the scene where Jennifer is swimming naked, she's wearing a flesh-colored bikini, like she's actually not nude and everything like that.
Yeah, well, you don't see anything. I mean, realistically, you see a silhouette in the water, but like you don't see anything. And I really liked that, because I was like, we're dealing with a topic here where we're also kind of pushing towards teenagers, and we all know teenagers have sex and all that stuff. Yeah. We're aware of that, but I do think that it was handled appropriately, even though there was the succubus aspect. Yeah,
and then also one of the main objectives of the production was to involve the audience in the uncomfortable atmosphere of Needy's loving feelings for Jennifer. On several occasions, the film tries to generate discomfort and tension when Needy realizes in some scenes that her love for Jennifer is not reciprocal. On the other hand, the production never wanted to make it clear if Jennifer felt a love attraction towards Needy, and that it was the public who openly interpreted Jennifer's feelings. So you are supposed to, like, you don't know, like, it's one of those things.
But do you guys think she does? Since we're interpreting here.
I think she is just like the dominant personality in that friendship. I don't necessarily think it was like a love. I think it was more of a Needy's character loves me, therefore I'm going to keep her around.
Okay.
Well, I saw it as like, I mean, the only time you ever see like them intimate is after she's like already been possessed. So I don't know.
They hold hands in the bar.
That's true. Part of me likes, well, not likes to think, but part of me, I guess, likes to think that Jennifer kind of like, she goes whichever way. She seems like a very like like, this is who I am kind of character, right? Like, this is what you gotta do. Like, she's very sexually empowered and stuff like that. This is like, she's telling Needy, you know, like, these are heat-seeking missiles, as I'm pointing at my breasts. These are heat-seeking missiles. You know, you just point them at what you want and you go get it and stuff like that. So she's very much about that. But then at the same time, like, yeah, she's very affectionate to Needy. And then later on in the film, I don't know how much of the succubus is actually in control of her actions and stuff. If it's not in control of her, then obviously she's into Needy. But then also the succubus only wants men, so it wouldn't cause her to do that with Needy. So I'm inclined to think that she does have at least some sort of physical attraction to her, maybe not legit romantic, like full like attraction, but like I think so.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand. I you could definitely tell like the whole hand holding thing, and then she's staring at the guy, and then Needy's like, "Fuck this! I'm not holding your hand anymore," because she was jealous. You could see all of that, and like her sticking up for her friend and like looking out for her and stuff. I do agree with the sexual empowerment thing. Her character in this, Megan Fox's character, definitely speaks on the level of like, I will fuck whoever I want to fuck, and it doesn't matter if you have a vagina or a penis. I don't care. Yeah. Like, she doesn't have like this whole like, I'm not gay. She just is like, I like what I like, and that's what I like, and she doesn't make no qualms about it. And I really appreciated that about this too, even after she was a succubus, because she's very confident, to say the least, and that was part of her personality, obviously, in the storyline. But I do think that says something about, for women or girls who are like young women, I should say, show me girls watching this anyway, that they can take something from that and like owning what you like and who you are kind of concept, even though it was done in a interesting way, I guess. So, but yeah, I think there was something there. I don't know what. I don't think it was confirmed, and I agree that they shouldn't have handed that to us. It was our interpretation. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I like to think that like this movie actually started a relationship with the two of them, like long lasting, because both of them have went on record saying that this is their favorite film that they've ever made.
Oh, wow.
And they kind of feel bad that it doesn't get the credit that they feel it deserves and everything. And both Amanda and Megan enjoyed the kissing, flirting scenes that went on between them. While both of them understood that they were only acting, both women remarked that there was a legitimate physical attraction that they felt for each other. So I like to think that like one day it'll just come out in the National Enquirer that Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried are together, and then I think that's what the station needs to happen. It'll bring everyone together. I think we'll, and then
that's how we unite. Okay.
Yeah, and then they just take Chris Pratt and throw him into a volcano, and then we're all happy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see that. Okay. So yeah, I think that covers my side of the film overall. I can't think of anything else I wanted to cover. Ed, who's your guys' favorite character?
Jennifer.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Like, she's the one that made me laugh and everything throughout the film. I'm going to like her.
Okay. What about you,
J.K. Simmons as the science teacher,
who has a hand missing for some reason.
Yeah.
It's never talked about.
It's like a claw too, so it's not even like that.
He also looks like he has a burn or a bite mark on his neck.
He's just all sorts of ragged.
Yeah. He is. Yeah,
he was great.
Yeah, he was. Like I said, this had a really good cast, I thought, for the movie. I was very surprised on how many like bigger names there was. Not big names, but decent ones.
Yeah, a lot of really good character actors and stuff like that. And I think everyone does a really good, like, that's the thing, is like, I expected this movie to be absolute dog shit. So going back to what we talked about in last episode, like, if you go into something expecting it to be bad and it's actually a lot better, it's like, I'm actually more forgiving in that, because everyone has told me that this movie is not good. So I went into it expecting it to be dog shit, and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. Is it one of my favorite films ever? No. Will I watch it again? Probably. Like, I will probably watch it again. I wish it were shorter. There's definitely a lot that they could probably cut down on. If you cut like 15 minutes out of this, get it into a nice crisp 1:30, I think it'd do a lot better. Less Adam Brody singing the same song over and over and over. Oh, was that your favorite part?
So bad. So bad. And it looked like he was lip syncing in the bar, which was also terrible.
Wasn't that just every band, though, that you listened to in high school, Tasha? Or even now to this day?
They had more screaming, just as much eyeliner, but more screaming, less like making love to the microphone.
Oh, okay.
It was so bad.
But did you like the whole idea where they were gonna sacrifice her and they're gonna be famous like that Maroon 5 guy?
Yeah.
See, like all that kind of stuff. Like they were like, I liked that kind of humor. I was like, fucking Adam Levine, that guy. God damn it.
Yeah. See, the funny thing is, there's something about it being in a horror movie that makes it come off as bad writing as opposed to funny. Yeah. So I had to look up, like Drew and I were watching it, and we needed to look up whether or not it was a comedy because otherwise it was just absolute dog shit.
Yeah. If this was supposed to be a serious film, it was horrible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But by no means is it supposed to be like, yeah, it's gory and it's a horror film. It's horror tropes and stuff like that, but. Yeah, it's not like, I mean, another comparison would be like the original like Fright Night and stuff, which is a vampire film and all this stuff, but it's so campy and it's meant to be. Gremlins, another example, horror film, but it's campy and it's actually not scary. It's actually more funny and like stuff like that. That's kind of in this wheelhouse where it's just ridiculous and funny and goofy. And like, this is the kind of thing that you like drink some beers, you like fucking smoke a bowl or whatever, and you just have a good time with friends and you watch this film.
Okay. It didn't translate like that for me.
Well,
no.
All right. No. Maybe I'm the only one.
Okay, maybe.
All right. Sounds like everybody's already done with Jennifer's body. I guess we get into review territory. I want to hear Tasha's review first.
I do too.
All right.
The floor is yours.
So, I mean, the biggest part I just said. I needed to figure out whether or not it was supposed to be funny. And the humor, it just wasn't my taste in comedy. Like I said, it seemed like low-hanging fruit with a lot of the sex jokes, and it just didn't translate. And Steph, you hit the nail on the head. The black vomit was just way too much. Just too much.
I don't think there was enough.
I just shook my head. Just, no, there's no need. That's all.
Oh, okay.
I will say Megan Fox I liked her her arrogance. That came across intentional. That came across not as bad acting. I liked the girls. They did well, but it just like I said, I wasn't chalking it up to the acting. I was chalking it up to just bad writing. Okay. And I just didn't think it was funny. I really like the Fueled by Ramen soundtrack. Those are still a lot of those songs I have on my liked playlist on Spotify. Currently, I was listening to Silver Sun Pickups like just a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah, I heard that kick in. I was just like, oh shit, yeah.
It's good. So that was, like I said, that was my favorite part. It like took me back to, that was my freshman year of college when this movie came out. So, but yeah, it just wasn't my, like, aside from going to emo or post-hardcore shows, it wasn't my scene. So that part was really the only part that resonated with me. I didn't really care about the rest of the movie. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say about it? I don't plan on watching this ever again.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. It's not one that I'll recommend. I mean, it's not one that I would recommend. I don't know who I would recommend it to.
Wyatt? Would Wyatt like it?
No. No.
He likes Hershey's chocolate, right? He would love the black vomit scenes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'll just subject my son to all of that.
There you go. You got to start him somewhere.
Right, but not with this one. No. We'll start elsewhere. I'm giving this movie a 3.
Damn.
So there's that.
Okay.
All right, Steph, what
next?
You got?
I'm with Nick on this. I thought this movie was going to be trash. I just assumed it was, and maybe that's just horrible to say, but I wanted other movies having higher expectations, and they were trash. So this was a pleasant surprise. I did not love it. I'm not going to be like, yes, 10 out of 10. Definitely not. It's not going into some Hall of Fame level or anything like that. I don't know who I would actually, like Tasha said, recommend this to, other than the fact that if you like a horror movie, maybe you like this. I have no idea. I agree, though. Like, there are certain parts that were humorous, but the comedy didn't hit for me either. I just didn't dislike the movie. Like, it felt very 2009. I mean, like, it literally did. It hit the nail on the head with that one. But I've watched way worse, and I found it entertaining, and I wasn't falling asleep, and I wasn't going, man, I hope this is over fast. Like, I genuinely was invested in the film to figure out what's going to happen next, regardless of how ridiculous and over the top it was. So that's, I mean, to me, even if it has writing that's kind of like meh, as long as it keeps me entertained, I guess that's all that really matters sometimes. And so I'm going to give this a 6. I thought it was like decent, but definitely not great. So,
you know what this movie reminded me of? I just remembered this. As we were watching it, I couldn't help but think of Buffy.
Yeah, kind of, a little bit.
Yeah, kind of.
Better writing, but yeah, I think.
Yeah, but Buffy is like Buffy 100% is just the early 90s version of this. It's camp. It's,
kind of.
You know,
yeah.
It's just that stuff does not click with me, and I can see where this doesn't work out for you. You know, if it misses, it misses. I like this a lot more than I expected. The soundtrack was hit or miss. Like, I was like, oh, okay, remember this band? I'd pick out some of the posters and stuff on the walls, be like, okay, I know those bands.
The Imagine Dragons is one that, or was it Fall Out Boy?
There was Fall Out Boy.
There was Fall Out Boy.
The one that really surprised me was like over Jennifer's bed, there was a Gallows poster. They were like a fucking like early 2000s like hardcore band from like England. They were pretty dope back then. But yeah, it definitely took me back. I would have liked this movie when it came out, like 100%. I know that I would have, because the movies it reminded me of, like, just because of the casting and the dialogue and delivery. I previously said Juno. There's like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
I liked that. That was
a lot of that kind of stuff, but just with a horror twist on it. Mm-hmm. And it just really took me back to that, which would have been like my early 20s. And I just kind of remember like those like quirky kind of films, and this kind of had that flavor to it. So it was a nice surprise, I guess, because considering I thought I was about to walk into fucking like urban legend or something like that, whether you like urban legend or not.
Don't shit on urban legend. Urban legend is so much better than this.
I would fiercely argue.
That's where we differ.
This movie is so much better than 13 Ghosts.
No, it's not.
Fuck you, man.
No, it's not.
I seriously think it is. Like, I
don't.
never want to see 13 Ghosts ever again. I will watch this again. I don't know how many times, but I will watch it again. All that being said, I'm going to give it a 6.25.
Okay.
Because, and it would have been a 5.25, but they killed Chris Pratt. So I had to give it an extra point. So it gets 6.25 for taking Pratt out of it.
Well, guys, that comes to a 41%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Womp.
You're more than likely not gonna like this, is what our math is telling us. But if you've not seen this, like I said, it's streaming on Peacock. We didn't really tell you the movie. Like, definitely like check it out. Like, if you know, like it's that era and stuff, whatever. But yeah, 41%. Not a screaming endorsement.
No.
Tasha's dragging it down. We could have had all 10s. This could have been the movie, Tasha.
Nope.
No, it could not have been.
I could knock it down a point.
I mean, I give her credit. She gave Buffy a 1. So giving this a 3 is like, that's way better. That's way better. So
What other films have we done that you would put down around the 3 category? I don't have any of that stuff. Like
The Exorcist.
Like Exorcist territory.
Yeah, I'd say Tasha hated that movie too. So yeah, I don't know.
Like
if
you said, Buffy. There was a stint of a lot of shit.
Reanimator. You weren't a big fan of Reanimator. I don't remember.
Neither one of us were, but I don't know if it was that low.
Yeah, I don't think I gave it that low. That might have been like a 4 or 5.
Okay,
yeah.
so you really like this movie like missed hard on you.
I don't like it.
I was gonna say we all didn't like 1408. Like that was another one that was
that was also horrible.
Which is surprisingly one of our best episodes. It's like literally like our top episode of listeners.
Yeah.
And
which hurts.
I know.
Like that
it's because everybody's
movie?
like, yeah, the movie's terrible.
Fucking Cusack. God damn it.
I
know.
The Black Coat's Daughter, I didn't rank very high.
Yeah. What was that one that we watched that was part of our February? The first one.
Oh, Pulse.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, you didn't like that so much.
I hated it. I hated that movie. Yeah, I did not like that. But then the other ones were really good. So like they made up for it. So that was good. But yeah, I would say the worst movie we've all rated is probably Buffy.
Oh, I don't think we're ever going to watch a movie that's worse than Buffy.
It's down.
I'm going to do my best to not ever have us watch a movie as bad as Buffy, unless you at home have a movie that you like, or at least you've watched, and you want us to watch. Send us an email at podofthedead666@gmail.com.
Put us through the torture.
Yeah, but you have to have watched it. You can't just be like, this looks like shit. You have to endure it first.
Yeah. We're
only
willing to
rule.
watch most things. Yeah, we can deal with the torture. So
before we get into homework, is there anything that you girls would like to champion? If you need a second, I'll start.
Okay, go for it.
I've got two things. I just started this past weekend. I started watching The Bear, which is on FX and stuff. The third season is coming out in a few weeks. I got the first season done in about 2 days. I'm going to try and get the second season done before the third season comes out. It really, it's really fucking good. Steph started it out of nowhere one night.
Yep.
We watched the first 2 episodes, and I was just like, the next day, I was like, so what'd you think of it? She's like,
it's okay.
It's okay. And I was like, I'm going to keep watching it. She's like, okay. I just burnt through it. So, dramatic, like a dramedy kind of thing, because it's about a chef who inherits his recently deceased brother's Italian beef sandwich shop in Chicago, and the relationships that are there unfold and hijinks happen. And it's really fucking funny. I laughed so hard when it dealt with Xanax in one scene, so fucking hard. But and then second, an album that I've got to champion is by a band called Hauntology.
Okay.
So like biology and haunt together. The album is called Hollow. It is a Polish black metal, but then like kind of progressive in there. Really pretty, like guitar work and stuff, but like really intense. So most black metal has like a lot of high screechy vocals and stuff. This is more like chestier, like kind of, but like very like this in its vocal delivery and stuff. If you're looking for something a little new, this came out early January. I've listened to this album probably like 6 or 7 times in the past week. It's really fitting my fancy. It's got amazing drum work, awesome guitar work. The vocals for me fucking work. It's super brooding. Good stuff. So Hauntology, the album is Hollow. Give it a listen if you're looking for something.
Okay.
All right.
You got Tasha.
Have you guys ever heard of the podcast Soul Boom? Also, I think it's a book. So it's Rainn Wilson.
Okay.
You know him from Dwight from The Office has a podcast, and it's so there's an episode, Nick, that makes me think of you and stuff. I think you would like the podcast as a whole. Nick, one of the episodes has Serge Tankian, and it's talking about how music can change the world.
Yeah.
Cool.
I believe I saw a clip of their interview on like TikTok or something recently.
It's real good. But he talks to, so he's a musician, he talks to actors, just people that are like thought leaders, I guess you could say, or in general, about like mindfulness and mental health, and just they're really inspiring discussions on happiness. There's some about grief. So there's a huge mental health spin to it.
What's the name of it again?
Soul Boom. I can share it with you. I can send you an episode.
I'm looking it up right now.
Cool. But there's only it's a relatively new podcast, and I believe he has a book out or a website. There's more to it than just the podcast. But I had no idea that he was such an insightful person, and hearing him as Rainn Wilson talk about the struggles he's been through and his life and the trauma that he's lived through and how he's kind of harnessed that for good is really, it's really, I keep saying insightful. It's powerful. They're really
motivating.
Good episodes.
It's motivating.
Motivating. Yeah.
It's really new. There's only 6 or 7 episodes. There isn't a lot.
Yeah, they come out on Tuesdays.
Okay. Yeah, it started.
So listen to us on Mondays, and then listen to that on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I followed them, so I can go check it out.
Oh, cool.
See if I like it. So see if I like it. So okay, that sounds good. I like listening to that kind of stuff. Do you have anything else?
No, that's kind of the big one.
Okay.
That's really the main thing.
I don't have tentacle porn this week. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, that's Pod of the Dead.
But I do have some interesting stories. I decided we'll talk about some books today. I know I have talked about T.S. Joyce on here before. If you're new, then you haven't heard this, but I read a lot. I'm also an author. That's what I do for a living. And so I try to read at least a book a week. I usually try to read more than that if I can. And T.S. Joyce happens to be one of my favorite authors. She is in Kindle Unlimited, and she writes shifter romances. And she has a series with a bunch of shifters based around Damon's Mountains. And she just came out with a new series that is bringing us back to Damon's Mountains. So she'd veered away from it for a while, and now she's back, and I'm really excited. And I read the first 2 books of this new series called The Fastlanders, and I was really excited about it. I liked it a lot, or liked both of them a lot. They were good. They're variety of shifters. You don't just get one kind. They all kind of mix and mingle amongst each other as well as with humans. So it's kind of cool in that way.
Are there were-gerbils?
They're squirrels.
Oh, squirrels! Fuck yeah!
And they have ravens. They have ravens.
No,
and
tell me more about the were-squirrels.
Well, it's only one that I know of from a book that she wrote a while ago, and it was a squirrel, and it made me laugh so hard.
It's not in this new book?
Not in this, no. She has panthers and lions and literally dragons and all
octopuses? Octopi? Octopi?
I should try to find. I know there's a. I know.
There it is.
I know that there's a book out there.
Where squid? There squid.
Yeah. I haven't read it yet, but it's a shark one. And it's not by her, but I should read that. But she did write ones which were really weird, and these were probably my least favorite, where they were actually and I told you about this, Nick. They were bulls, but they were rodeo bulls, so they were shifters.
Please
and
don't.
so it was
bull.
like a
Yes, no,
not a bowl, a bull.
China dish. It turned into a fucking Tupperware salad bowl.
How does that work?
Oh God, the full moon.
We're
They all
all
stack inside of each other.
Tasha just brought this up, so you guys are all going to be subjected to this. I don't know the exact name of it. I might read it. I was just talking about it in my book club this week. There is a book out there. And anybody can Google it because I'm sure it's the only one that exists, where a woman has a relationship with a door.
With a door?
An actual door to her apartment. So we were talking about this, and one of my friends, she read it.
Somebody gonna hump that doorknob.
It literally, it's all over Book Talk. She the door talks to her and stuff. They have this relationship. She ends up having intimacy with this door.
She fucks a door. Don't dance around the bush. She fucks a door.
She legitimately does. I have not read this yet, but we were talking about it, and they were like, we need to add this to our book list. And I was like, I read a lot of really fucked up things. I don't know if I want to read about a book where she fucks a door who is talking to her, but then apparently he transforms into a human afterwards. I really don't know all the ins and outs of it. I just know that they have sex with the door.
You could just have it where it's people shifting into microwaves, people shifting into burritos fucking microwaves. I'm giving you an entire universe.
No, but I did talk about the marshmallow one a few episodes ago, so I did read that one, and it was about peeps. Yeah. So that does exist. There is some weird shit out there. And then off the topic, which is still on the topic, I read a book, part of my book club, also called You're So Dead to Me. And this book is about a woman who can see ghosts, which is like the TV show Ghosts.
God, that's right.
And she has sex with 3 different ghosts. in this storyline, and like 'cause she can see them and she builds this relationship with them. And if you've seen the TV show that's also in the UK and in the US that's called Ghosts, it's almost exactly the same thing. And she
with more ghost dicks.
With 3 ghost sticks, not more ghost sticks, but yeah, but like and it's been it has a murder mystery in it. One of the girls in my book club picked it. We read it last month. Well, actually, I read it last week, but it was for last month's book club, and it was something. It was something. Like the one guy literally puts his finger, like his body, because obviously he float through walls, into like electrical areas so he can get an erection. Like legitimately.
What the fuck?
This is what I read last week. Yeah. So like, and he doesn't call it his penis or anything. He calls it his scepter. So like, because he's like, he's like a prince from like 1800s or something that died by falling out of a window, and because nobody liked him. Yeah, and so
Did you just say he fell out of a window because nobody liked him?
I think
like,
somebody
that's just
pushed
something
him.
Happens. It's like nobody likes me. Oh shit!
Yeah, I think somebody. I can't remember exactly, but I think somebody pushed him out the window. So yeah, because he was like a douchebag.
This man clearly fell out a window. Nobody must have liked him.
Yeah, so he like when you die in this book, you're stuck in the clothes that you died in. So he's got like a cod piece, which Nick talks about often over himself. And that's the other book. So You're So Dead to Me in Kindle Unlimited. It's actually kind of popular. It was weird, but I actually didn't hate it. It was actually really well written. It was just very different. I apologize to everybody.
I didn't hate it.
I know.
I wait to hear about this door fucker book.
I am not reading it. I don't know if I can.
Steph's gonna read door fucker.
My god!
You should read it and then report back to us. He's the one that's interested in it.
I know.
Maybe that'll be a game episode. Is it a long book?
I don't think. How long of a book can it be about fucking a door? I'm sure there's
only so much you can go into.
Chapter 78. I got a splinter.
So that's my But I'm sorry, guys who are listening. Yes, that was my suggestions for this week. So.
All right, no tentacles, just ghost dicks and doors. So
whoa,
it is homework time.
Yep.
If you stuck around through that,
because they're like, she started on her weird porn again. We're done.
That's what people are here for. That's why I'm always saying, where's those tentacles at?
Oh my god.
So we've done so many high class horror films like recently and stuff, and I felt the need.
We just watched Jennifer's Body.
Exactly. No high class.
Well, no, like the 5 prior to it though, it was like all A24, and like then we did like, Get Out and stuff, and then we're just slowly slipping. We got into Jennifer's Body,
so we're slipping further now.
Oh, so down in it.
Tasha.
We are going to watch.
Oh
yeah. I can't.
We're doing it?
Yeah.
I guess.
We are going to watch 1992's.
Oh shit! It's old.
Splatstick classic.
Oh no.
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive.
Okay. Right. Is it streaming anywhere?
It is. You can rent it streaming. It is not streaming. We own it. Shocker.
Okay. Yeah. Dead Alive. Okay.
What I will say is this is by far the bloodiest film that we have covered on this podcast.
Okay.
Even compared to Evil Dead 2.
Oh my god, that movie is just nothing but blood.
Wow. Nothing but blood.
I will give this caveat, since Tasha kind of needs it sometimes. Like going into, Jennifer's Body not knowing it was comedy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a splatter comedy film. Super bloody, super campy, funny. This is also from the Best Picture winner, Peter Jackson.
Okay.
Damn.
So this is like his first film.
And then he made Lord of the Rings.
Later on, he made a couple films. They did the Lord of the Rings and King Kong and all that shit. But he started out in New Zealand making an insane fever dream of a gore flick.
Okay.
So that's what we're gonna watch. It's kind of like Romeo and Juliet. There's a love story there. There's a lot of blood.
I don't know if I believe you. Okay.
Oh, there is. There straight up is.
I
Straight
believe
up
the
is.
blood part. I'm wondering about the romance.
I would not lie to you. We're
Yes,
getting
you would.
no, I would not. We're getting to watch Dead Alive. That's all
Okay.
that needs to.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
So yeah, that's what's for homework, kiddos.
Okay. Yay.
So Dead Alive, I believe you have to rent it online and stuff like that. But that's what we'll be watching.
Great, I get to spend money on this.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
something
think you'll
she
like
loves.
it. I actually think you'll love this. Like you'll.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I think
But,
you will.
all right.
I bet you like it more than Jennifer's Body.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I like doing this.
Remember last time you did that and it did not pan out
Yeah.
I know,
well
right?
for you?
I know, right?
True.
I'm
And
gonna
here we are again.
I'm going to guess that you give it like a 5.5.
Okay.
You can get like right over that hump. You're like, you know what? Under the right circumstances, I think I could see myself watching this again.
Well, did you like Evil Dead 2? I can't remember if you liked Evil Dead 2. Did you like that?
Yeah, I did. I like the live community theater version better than what I watched.
That's right.
Yeah, that was the thing that kind of tampered it for. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I had something to go up against. So
Okay. So maybe this will be in that same vein. You never know.
it kind of go into it expecting like Evil Dead, like it's just like weird, outlandish, bloody. That's it.
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds fun. Okay.
Can do.
For
all right.
Pod of the Dead, I am Nicholas.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Natasha.
Come back and listen to us, or else.